Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is an honor for me to represent Mauritius and share with you the Mauritian perspective of the maritime challenges that we face in the region. We are all aware that the maritime domain is the most unregulated realm of our planet. The sheer magnitude of the economic interest involved in IORA brings it to the forefront. IORA is also the world's preeminent energy and trade seaway, which, in my opinion, shall continue to retain the center stage in the geostrategic security matrix in times to come. Blessed by geography, because of its strategic location, that is, off the African southeast coast, Mauritius has been given the name of the star and the key of the Indian Ocean. Let me just give a brief insight into the history of Mauritius, for I am certain that it will help you understand our challenges in a better manner. For over 5 centuries, Mauritius have been a critical link in the flow of goods and people across the Indian Ocean. In the continental era, these islands acquired a military significance amidst the efforts of European powers to control the sea lanes of IORA. The British separated Chagos before the withdrawal from Mauritius. The main island, Jhugroo, is being used by the United States as a forward operating base since the Cold War era and has been a pivot of the US naval operations in the IORA and the Persian Gulf. In June this year, the United Nations General Assembly voted in favor of referring the territorial dispute between Mauritius and the UK to the International Court of Justice in order to clarify the legal status of the Chagos. It was approved by a majority of vote, with 94 voting for and 15 against the motion. I take this opportunity to thank our friendly countries that supported Mauritius at the UN. Now let me acquaint the audience with the Mauritius Police Force, which is the singular agency for internal and external security, including law enforcement for the Republic of Mauritius. You might be questioning why a police officer is concerned about naval and maritime issues. The Mauritius Police Force has various units having different roles and functions with coverage under the single command of the Commissioner of Police. It ranges from the regular and uniform police, a paramilitary element, what is the Special Mobile Force, a National Coast Guard, and various other departments as shown on this screen. The responsibility of the Mauritius Police Force spans over the main land, Mauritius, Rodrigues, and the other islands, namely Saint-Brandon and Agalega. The National Coast Guard, which is part of the Mauritius Police Force, has a huge challenge of maintaining a vigil over our vast EEZ of about 2.3 million square kilometers. We have an approximate strength of about 13,000 personnel who serve a multi-ethnic rainbow population nearing 1.265 million and around 1 million tourists annually. Our maritime challenges. The main issue is drug. Having briefly touched upon the significance of IORA, our history, and the structure of MPF, let me now dwell upon the contemporary maritime security challenges that we face. As I said, the first major challenge we face is drugs. Maritime law enforcement is considerably more complicated than land-based enforcement. Thus, the traffickers use this to their advantage. Historically, majority of drugs get trafficked along what is known as the Southern Route or the smack track. This network route finds its way from Afghanistan across the Indian Ocean to East Africa and eventually to the international consumer markets. This route has now got pushed further southwards because of conflicts and increased law enforcement activity in the region, which has compelled the traffickers to find alternates. Other regional conditions which favor traffickers include the locations along the southern route, porous borders, low enforcement challenges, low maritime surveillance capacity, and socio-economic circumstances. Reports indicate an increase in traffic between known departure points for drugs, with traffickers adopting innovating concealment methods and using several drop-off points to smaller vessels. Trafficking in shipping containers has also been a major challenge for the authorities, out as contrabands and a lot more difficult to detect during security scans. As most of the drugs pass through East Africa on its way to other destinations, there had been a sharp increase in regional drug consumption in coastal areas and island nations, including Mauritius. The surge in drug trafficking and consumption have contributed to violence, insecurity, and other forms of organized crime, all of which undermine regional development, security, and the rule of law. To counter this challenge, an elite of the National Coast Guard, that the Commando Unit was established in 2009 to create a potent force capable to fight against drugs and terrorism. This year alone, they have contributed to more than 120 anti-drug operations. The other challenge is illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing, IUU. It is a well-known fact that IORA is the second largest source of fish catch worldwide, specifically tuna. It is not only a source of jobs and economic wealth, but also plays a significant role in food security in the region. The Mauritius tuna industry employs over 7,000 people and contributes towards making our island a seafood hub. As per the Indian Ocean Tuna Commission reports, the yellowfin tuna is 94% overfished. Despite IOTC being in place for over 21 years to address this concern, there is a lot more that remains to be done. The socio-economic impact of IUU bears a direct link with piracy. This means that if piracy was reduced but IUU fishing remained, it would not be long before piracy would again become a problem. Developing countries like Mauritius severely suffer from the effects of IUU, particularly within the EEZ, due to lack of resources and infrastructure to adequately administer our waters in remote areas where surveillance is often difficult. Here I would like to point out the contribution of the Indian Navy, who regularly carry out surveillance in our EEZ and other friendly countries. The other challenge is the tourism sector. Mauritius is a famous tourist destination. The total contribution of travel and tourism was about 26% of GDP in 2016 and accounts for 25% of total employment. Economic growth in the region has led Mauritius to become a major destination for marine tourism and cruise shipping activities. To promote our tourism industry, we need to provide a secure and conducive environment. This in turn increases our stake towards maritime security and safety in IORA. Considering that Indian Ocean encloses major transit routes for tankers carrying crude oil and other petroleum products, the possibility of oil spill pollution cannot be ruled out. The world ocean, particularly the Indian Ocean, face grave risk due to pollution, overfishing, acidification, and low level of dissolved oxygen will result in creation of dead zones. As we are heavily dependent on the ocean for our existence, we have to ensure marine conservation while also being adequately prepared to undertake pollution control. We have listened about piracy. I think the piracy of the coast of Somalia was at its peak in 2011. This had an adverse impact on our economy. Akin to the efforts of the international community, National Coast Guard of Mauritius maintains a sharp vigil at sea by developing maritime assets on a regular basis. Further, to contribute to elimination of piracy, we are also one of the member nations of Contact Group on Piracy off the coast of Somalia. For us, supporting our outer islands in terms of logistics, sustenance, security, medical cover, etc., is indeed a huge challenge. Continuous surveillance and monitoring is required to ensure that the uninhabited islands are not misused by any non-state actors. This entails considerable load on our limited maritime assets. A transition toward a sustained blue ocean economy is the vision of our Mauritian government. And we have a vast EEZ and a huge continental shelf which is co-managed with the Republic of Seychelles. Further submission for an extended continental shelf of about 303,000 square kilometers on seabed and subsoil are being made in respect of Rodrigue Islands and Chagos. Notwithstanding our marine resources offer far greater business opportunities than just fish, the blue economy calls upon industrialists and investors to venture in the medicinal, pharmaceutical, and other spheres too. The key investment opportunities identified under the ocean economy includes seabed exploration and various other ventures as shown on the screen. What are the mitigation strategies? We can easily deduce that the root causes for these are unlikely to disappear anytime soon. Thus, there is a need to collaborate and indulge into cooperative engagement which are participative and inclusive in nature. Mauritius is part of many such cooperative engagement, wherein it is engaging with other maritime nations to ensure stability in the region. Accordingly, Mauritius is a member of the Indian Ocean Commission, which is an intergovernmental organization with a mission to be a platform of solidarity for the entire population of the African Indian Ocean region. In addition, Mauritius is an active participant of the Smart Fish exercise, which is a regional fisheries program funded by the European Union for Southern and Eastern Africa region, which focuses on economic and regional integration to sustainable exploitation of fisheries resources. Another engagement between the Coast Guards and the navies operating in the region is the Cutlass Express program, in which National Coast Guard of Mauritius actively participates. It is an exercise sponsored by the US to assess and improve maritime law enforcement capacity of the participating countries. Being a member of IORA, we remain committed with this aim of promoting cooperation and closer interaction among participating nations. We are privileged to have its coordinating secretary and Mauritius itself. As a member of IONS, Mauritius endeavors to reach a common understanding and possible cooperative solution on the maritime front. Mauritius has also joined EU-funded Programme on Maritime Security, MAZE, to strengthen the capacity of East Southern African region in the implementation of the Regional Strategy and Action Plan against Piracy and Maritime Security. At national level, to counter IUU fishing, we have set up a fisheries monitoring center which harbors a vessel monitoring system to keep a watch on the activities of fishing vessels in our EEZ. Additionally, we have set up a mechanism, the Port State Control Unit, for boarding and inspection of fishing vessels for implementation of a national plan of action to combat illegal fishing. In order to build our maritime domain awareness, we are exchanging wide shipping data with the USA and India, which helps us to develop an operational picture of our region. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, the IORA is simply too diverse to accommodate a one-size-fits-all approach. Thus, IORA's security outlook demands responses that are practical, adaptive, and multi-layered. There is a need to have ever-reaching forums such as IORA being implemented by regional organizations like IOC and further supplemented by localized initiatives. Further, we need to come up with an effective domain awareness solution for the region to have a comprehensive operating picture for us to optimize upon cooperative engagement initiatives. Finally, I would like to also thank the host nation for providing such a wonderful platform for sharing ideas. I'm certain that this event will benefit all of us and help us to take constructive steps towards fulfilling the aim of IORA. Thank you very much.